Alright guys, ASFarming here and welcome to a guide on GPS. So this video is going to be for all of you out there who are absolutely GPS, it's boggling your mind, you don't know what to do, there's so many buttons, how the hell do I set GPS up? So this video, I am literally going to go through everything, because I've seen a lot of few people in their, even in their streams, or asking me how to set GPS up. So this would be sort of a tool to refer people to, because I'm literally going to go through everything how to set GPS up, and this is something that people can refer back to, and you know, if they forget how to do it and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I know there's plenty of videos out there of how to set GPS up, but this, you know, this is how I'm going to explain it. You know, other people are going to have their own ways of setting GPS up and whatnot, but this is literally how I do GPS. It works for me, so this is how I'm going to explain it. So when you want to use GPS, you obviously have to make sure that the tractor has GPS installed. So if you start a map and there's tractors that are already owned on the map, you already own the tractors, they're not going to have GPS installed. GPS is added to the tractor in the workshop or when you first purchase it. So I've got my cultivator here, but as of the moment I haven't got a tractor. So we want a tractor. So all you do, you purchase it like normal, but obviously when you get into this bit, you'll get a tab that says global positioning system. This is GPS. This needs to be changed to yes, and it costs, each tractor is the same. It costs 15,000 to install GPS system on the tractor. Some, like the John Deere, you'll see the little yellow green star on top. You'll see that goes on and off as I'm turning it on and off. So obviously, you know, you want that on, and then you just configure either the rest of the tractor how you want. That doesn't matter. But this needs, if you want GPS on the tractor, this needs to be as yes. So if we purchase this, and we will go over to the field. So we hook this all up to our tractor. Everything like normal. Put this on. Probably needed a weight, but we're gonna YOLO it. Go over to our field. Bear with. But yeah, I'll this is obviously, this first setup is going to be for implements that are wide on both sides of the tractor, rather than an implement that's just wide on one side of the tractor, like a plow or something, which I'll show you how to set a plow for GPS as well after this. So this is obviously an implement that is wide on both sides of the tractor. So this is going to work for your cultivators, your seeders, all that sort of thing. So yeah, so when you first come to a field, this will obviously work for your, odd shaped fields and whatnot. You want to be lined up straight with the direction you want to be going in. Okay, so if you get a square field, it's best to line up straight like this. See, I'm lined up straight now. Now, to turn GPS on, you do left Alt and C. You hold Alt and then click C, and that'll turn it on. And then you do left Control and S, and that'll bring the menu up. Now, most people usually get to this menu, but they haven't got a clue of what does what and anything. So the main things we're going to set up first before anything is you obviously want show lines on, and you want snap terrain angle off. Snap terrain angle, basically, it snaps it to certain degrees, rather than if you want to go in Like if I wanted to go across this field, then I would have snap tray and angle off, because it'll snap it sometimes not in the direction I want to go. So it is best to have just snap tray and angle off, in my opinion. Second tab is, this is basically going to generate your courses. So you can obviously, with this, you'll obviously have to do what I'm going to do in a minute, set a course up first. But when you have, you can call it whatever you want, then add it, and that'll put all your courses along here. They'll all show up here, but I'll obviously show you that in a minute. So basically, to start a course, you want to click Set A, which basically, you can see a little A here. You see there's a little A. That is setting this point as your start point. So what you want to do is lower your implement and go forward, going in a straight line that you want to go in. And you see the little dots are starting to appear. And if you go sort of, you haven't got to go across the field, you just go sort of that little distance. Go back into your menu, doing left control and then S. Then you want to set your second point, which is set B. And if you go out, this will then set, this is the direction that you want to go in. So if you go back into the menu, to generate the width of the implement, you want to do auto width, like that. If you get an offset, like if this is a number, you do not want an offset with this. An offset is only for when you're using plows or implements that are going to go to the side of the tractor. You don't want an offset when it's just a wide tractor on both sides. So yeah, make sure this is a number. If it has got a number, just click this arrow and it will refresh it to 0, is all it'll do. So you go back to 0. But yeah, make sure, if you're using a cultivator like this or a seed, anything like this, mowers that are wide on both sides, you haven't got an offset. So basically, if we go out now, you'll see there's a white dotted line in the middle and 2 orange lines. The white line is where the tractor's going to drive, and the 2 orange lines are obviously representing the width of the cultivator. So if I go again now, so you can see now, you're thinking, well, that's not in line with the field. So if you do, I think it's, yeah, so if you hold left alt, then depending on which direction you want to go, you hold page up or page down, and you can see it's moving. I can move it along to where I want it. So if I put it a bit more on the field, like so, then to activate it, because that isn't going to drive on that line now. See, it's white. To activate it so it's going to drive on that course, you hold left alt and then X, and you can see it makes a sound which helps. The icons on your right above your speedometer, they turn green, but also the biggest giveaway is your white line then turned green. So that knows now I haven't got to steer. All I've got to do is hold the accelerator to go forward, and it's going to drive on that line. And all I've got to do now is lower my implement, and away I go. I can either hold the accelerator, or I can obviously put cruise control on, sit back, and that is now driving in a straight line. And that is how easy GPS is. Obviously, when you get to the end of a field, you have to do all the usual stuff of stopping, lifting the implement up, and then turning, lining up again with the next row, hitting that left alt and X. See, it drives onto it. I lower my cultivator, and away it goes. And that is GPS. That is GPS. Now, If you're saying, well, I wanted to go in a different direction, perhaps, you go back into your menu with Control and S, go over to this menu, and you click this. This will spin the direction 90 degrees. So if I click it, it's now facing the other way. So I can go cultivating this way now, like that. And that is how easy GPS is. A lot of people struggle with it, and it does seem very complicated when you first look at it, but it is ever so easy to set up. And that's it. You obviously, you know, it doesn't turn on its own. You lift it up. You have to turn yourself, activate it. Always make sure if that line in the middle is white, the GPS isn't activated. When you want it to drive on that line, it's got to be green. So like if I suddenly steered and it's turned white, so that's not actually driving on the line. I'm now driving it. But then if I do it again, it'll go back on the line. And that is that. Another way is if I wanted now to go across the field, if I lined it up in the way I want to go back in the menu, set a new point. I want to set A, lower my implement, go forward a bit, stop, set this now as B. Make sure my auto width is all as it should be. Go back, and now I can go across the field, like so. And this will go in a straight line across the field now. So if I lift it up and I turn around again, it'll go in a straight line across the field. And that is how easy GPS is to set up. Ever so easy to set up. Now if I say I don't want to do all the whole setting up again for this field or whatnot. Say I want to save the course. So you go back into your menu, go on to this, and this is obviously the course is as it is at the moment. If I want to save this, I want to call this, YouTube vid, and I click that plus button, it'll save it for me in my base group. Now if you say, oh, I named it something wrong or something, if you click on it, double click on it, the name will come up, and if I get rid of the vid bit, then click this, see it changes the name, and that's what that is for. And then obviously the bin is self-explanatory. If I want to delete that course, click on it, press the bin, and it deletes it. And I can add as many variants of this as I like. You know, I can do this and add loads of different courses. That one already exists. Can't have the one that's same name. And then if I want to rename this one to the vid, do that. If I want to delete that one, I can, and that's all of that. That is a self-explanatory. Things like the A, B straight, all of this. I would make sure it's always A plus B. I wouldn't mess with any of this. I've never messed with any of it. So I would just leave it how it is. The set A and the set B has always worked fine for me. It's same with headland mode. I've never done headland mode. At the end of the day, you just drive around the field, don't you? And then again, offset reversal. Again, I don't mess with that. Enable guidance steering is obviously when you're clicking Alt and X. So if I turn it off now and I go back in the menu, it's turned off. If I then put it on, go back in, it's turned off. So that's all that is. It's just, you know, turning it on and off. So that is, it's rare you use that. Your main things on the pages are obviously what I've shown you. But now, if I go and grab a plow, I will show you how to set up a plow with it. So if you bear with me, I will be right back. Okay, so I am back with the plow. Now, to say I want to plow this field, so obviously I want to turn on my GPS with Alt and C. Here you can see that turns the lines on. If you make sure, obviously when you first go into the menu on GPS, that you've got show lines turned on, then you'll know when you've got GPS turned on and off. So if you see now, if I go Alt and C, the lines disappear. So that means GPS is turned off, and if I go Alt and C, it's turned back on again. That is all Alt and C is for, is turning it on and off. Like that, you see? And then obviously it has to be turned on to be able to bring the menu up. So if you can't, if you're going, oh, I'm going Control and S and I can't get the menu up, that's because you haven't done Alt and C and turned it on. Because obviously if I've got it turned off now, you can see no lines, and I try and go in the menu. See, I can't turn it on. So always remember, you've got to turn it on. But anyway, we basically now we want to set it up for a plow. So it is pretty much exactly the same as we did with the cultivator. So obviously you want to line up in the way, the direction that you want to go in. You go in your menu, you click Set A, which will set your A. Lower your implement. Drive for a short distance in that straight line, keeping it as straight as possible. You go in, you set B, which will set it as the course. See the white lines now appeared. And then if I do auto width, it'll determine the width of the implement, and with this, it now puts in an offset. So you see, there's a red line. You can see on my implement. So that red line is actually now where the tractor's going to drive. It's not going to drive on that white one. It's going to drive on that red one. Do you see the red line is like, if I am going this way, that red line is in the right position if I was coming towards us. But if I'm going away from where we are now, that red line wants to be on the opposite side. So if I go in the menu, and if I click invert offset, it'll put the line on the opposite side. That's where my middle of my tractor is going to be driving. So if I click Alt and X again now, you see it drives onto the red line. And all I do is exactly the same as before. I put cruise control on, lower my implement, and that is now driving on that red line on an offset. Obviously you can see I don't know if and that is exactly it. You can see that I haven't gone quite in a straight line, just going a bit off the field. And that is why it's important to go in a straight line when you're creating a course, because if you do it a bit wonky, you'll get a bit of a wonky line. Obviously if I turn my plow over and whatnot, go on the line again, lower it, and now we're ploughing. Just like that. You see it's got the orange lines are on the width of the plough, not the wheel, the actual width of the implement ploughing. And that is ploughing. And that, it works exactly the same with if you were mowing with an offsetted mower. That is how to use GPS with a plough. Not that difficult at all. Not that difficult at all. And you can go up and down your field to your heart's content, sitting back, having a cup of coffee while your GPS is doing all the work. Just like that. Now, a few other things as well is if you ever get to the point when you say, well, I've done the auto width, but it's either too small or too wide. That is where these plus and minuses come into play. So I can, this is how much it'll increase or decrease when I click the plus or the minus. So obviously you can change that to however much you want. That's all that's for. And then obviously if you watch the number now, it says 8.31. I can increase it or I can decrease it. And then obviously it's gone up in threes now. If I go up to 0.1, it goes up a lot more. See, that's gone up to 9.95 now. And that's what that is for. And it's exactly the same with the offset. If you want to decrease the offset so it's more into the middle, or increase it so it goes a bit more the other way, that's what those plus and minuses are for. And obviously again with the increment, that's what is for how much you're going to increase or decrease it. And that is GPS in a nutshell. Obviously if I wanted to save this course, if I wanted to name it Plowing, get the plus, and it's added that. So that's, I've got a ploughing course, I've got a cultivating course, and you can do as many courses as you want. You can call it, you know, Ploughing Field 1, Ploughing F1, and that'll save it. And you could make a course for ploughing for every single field. You can have as many courses as you like. Obviously, you know, that's one thing which is entirely up to you. But yeah, that is GPS. That is how easy GPS is to use. But yeah, I hope this video has been helpful. If you've got any other questions, then obviously please drop them down below, and I'll try and answer them as best as I possibly can. But most of how I could explain to use GPS is in this video. So just keep, you know, pausing it and referring back to it and whatnot. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please definitely hit that like button. It'd be much appreciated. And subscribe if you're new to the channel. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Thank you all very much for watching. Bye guys.